Today, as we continue in John's Gospel, I encourage you to take a look at John chapter 6, verses 1 through 24. This passage encompasses the feeding of the 5,000 as related in John's Gospel, which, as I have told you before, is one of the only miracles that Jesus performs that's actually described in all four Gospels because it was so significant. And then after that, we hear about Jesus walking on the water. And then what's known as the bread of life discourse begins. But whenever I come to this passage, it always makes me smile because it reminds me of a story about a church that had one of those signboards out front where the pastor would change the sermon title for every week. And this particular church had a Sunday morning service and then a Sunday evening service. And somebody driving by noticed that on Sunday morning, the sermon title was Jesus Walks on the Water. And then when they drove by the church later that afternoon, they saw that the sermon title had been changed for the evening service, and the title was Looking for Jesus. That always makes me laugh. But that line, looking for Jesus, comes from John 6, verse 24, which says, "So when the crowd saw that neither Jesus nor his disciples were there, they themselves got into the boats and went to Capernaum looking for Jesus." And I just am struck by that verse, and I wonder for each of us how we would answer that question. How much are you really looking and searching for Jesus? How much am I looking for Jesus? So much that you would change your schedule, your plans, because that's what this crowd does. They see that Jesus and the disciples are gone, and they want to be where Jesus is. They want to hear more. They also, some of them, may just want another free meal. Because remember, this is after the feeding of the 5,000, and there were some who wanted to make Jesus king because of what he had done. And Jesus' time has not yet come. But looking for Jesus, I just encourage you to meditate on that phrase. How much am I looking? How diligently am I searching? How regularly am I looking to spend time to be with Jesus so that he can not just give me a free meal, but that he can feed my spirit and my soul and my mind, that I can learn from him by just being in his presence. And when we read the Bible, that's really what we're hoping for, isn't it? It's not just to gain intellectual insight. We want to have an encounter with God. We want to have an encounter with Jesus when we turn to the Scriptures. So I encourage you to keep that phrase with you, not only today, but in the days and weeks to come. Keep looking for Jesus in the Bible, in worship, throughout your day. Because when you diligently look for Jesus, I guarantee you, you will find and see him.